So these strings claim they can boost your signal. So I tested them and the results were really surprising. Can you really get a clean boost from just your guitar strings with no pedals and no amp tweaks? Now that's exactly what these new Cleartone Power Series strings claim, so I decided to put them to the test. Now these were just released at NAMM and the claim is pretty bold, a natural clean boost straight from your strings. And just to be clear, I bought these strings myself. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Cleartone strings. I was just really interested to see if this actually works. So according to Cleartone, they've developed a specific nickel iron blend that increases the magnetic response with your pickups, basically giving you more output straight from the strings. So the basic idea is more signal without touching anything in your setup. I'm testing this two different ways. First, what you actually hear. Do these feel louder and more present? And second, I'm measuring the actual output. I built a simple rig to keep the picking consistent and ran it into Logic and then measured the level in dB. I took multiple readings per string and then averaged them out, so this should give a pretty fair comparison. Okay, first just by ear. I swapped between a standard set of nickel strings and then the Power Series strings. The same exact guitar, same exact setup. Let's see what happens. Honestly, for me, it didn't really feel like it was that much louder. Maybe there was a little bit extra push in the low end, but definitely not like a traditional boost. But perception is definitely a little bit misleading, so let's see what the signal is actually doing. So I'm measuring the output of these strings using this controlled plucking rig that I made. So it's pretty simple. I just put it up against this pickup here, back it into the string, hold it, and just pull the string in and pluck. And it gives me an incredibly consistent plucking force. So obviously the guitar is set up exactly the same as it was before. We're using the same gauge of strings, obviously. This gave me really consistent readings per string. So I averaged multiple readings for each string, and this is where things get really interesting. So if you look at the full set average across all the strings, there is a small lift in output, around 2 dB. So yeah, technically there is a bit of a boost, but that is not the full story here. Because when you break it down string by string, it's not an even boost right across the board. Actually, these bottom 3 unwound strings were actually about the same as the normal set. But these fat 3 wound strings, that's where it got kind of interesting. The D string jumped up about 2.8 dB. The A string was about 3.5 dB and the fat E string was over 4 dB in boost. That is actually a pretty big shift, but only on about half the guitar. In fact, the D string actually hit clipping in one of these tests, which never happened with the standard set. So these strings can hit your signal chain harder, just not evenly. So what is actually going on here? Well, it isn't a boost like an effects pedal. It's more like the bottom half of your guitar is getting turned up. These strings use a different alloy, but only on the fat 3 strings, the wound strings. The bottom 3 plain strings are just like normal steel strings, so they don't really change that much. But the wound strings have that alloy in their wire wrap, and that's what's interacting more strongly with those pickups, and that's why you get an increase in output from those 3 strings. So what you end up with is a shift in balance. These fat 3 strings hit a little harder while the bottom 3 strings are around about the same, and that can shift your guitar out of balance a little. But that's where things actually get quite interesting. You can now lower that side of the pickup down and still get all that clarity and punch that you had before, but now you can have better note separation, better dynamics, and overall feel. So can these strings replace a boost pedal? Well, no, not really. But can they change your guitar sound in a measurable way? Yeah, definitely, just not the way you'd expect. This isn't a full range boost. It's more a targeted boost on those wound strings. Now, whether you like it or not depends on your setup and the sound that you're going for, but I actually personally think it's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you try these strings and your experiences with them, and we'll catch you in the next one.